JT.
Chris King. Yes, sir.
With 10 seconds left trying to guard Deangelo Russell. There's no when you have Pat Bev, Mr. Belt to ass. I know he was getting torched a little bit, but if you told me I had to make one stop at the end of a game, you told me I could either have Damian Lillard on the floor or Patrick Beverly. I'm putting in Patrick Beverly every single time, especially when Deangelo Russell got 40-some points on me. It didn't make. There's no reason. And then Darvin Ham, who Laker fans hate, has the wherewithal, the knowledge to know that even though my guy is cooking, even though Deangelo Russell got 44, 6, and 9 on somebody's head, we come down and we got to get a stop. You know what? I got to have Dinwiddie in the game. I got to have Cam Reddish, who only played 16 minutes in the game. Those are the guys got to be playing. Who got was it Dinwiddie that got the block? Who got the block on Dame?
I think it was
Dinwiddie.
Spencer. Yep.
Spencer Dinwiddie. That's who I got to have. I got to have linked on it. I can't. Listen, man. Listen, there's no reason why Damian Lillard's in the basketball game. Just none. Bring him back in. You had a timeout. If the Lakers end up scoring, you bring him back in to play offense. But, oh, by the way, the Dame watch didn't work because it got swatted. I'm not blaming Damian Lillard, but I'm just saying because sometimes that thing happens. But, again, tonight it was a loss. You lose at 123-122. We got to get into the game recap. We will get into it. The game recap, as always, is sponsored by the law office of Daly M. Johnson. When you need defense, where?
Court.
Off the court. And you know what happened tonight? The Bucks didn't have defense on. What happened? What's happened to this Milwaukee Bucks defense? Torched two games in a row. The Bucks defense that was holding everybody under 100 points. Well, it was cute when it was Charlotte. It was cute when it was. Listen, that's what they were saying to us, and I'm sitting here defending. Oh yeah, no, we back. The defense is back. No, the hell it ain't. The defense ain't back. You give up 78 points in the first half the other night. You give up 69 tonight. No LeBron James. So again, law office Daly M. Johnson, because we need defense off the court because we don't have no damn defense on the court. Serving Central and South Central Wisconsin, criminal defense, trafficking OWI defense, TROs, injunctions. We all about it tonight. I'm fired up. 608-893-8370. Call my guy, Daly M. Johnson. Go to his website, www.dmjlaw.com. Sign up for a free phone or in-person consultation. Because I don't know, this is one of the nights where you get upset. You might just smack somebody outside the bar tonight, and you got to call Daly M. Johnson. That's how pissed off you are about what you just saw. That might happen. That might happen. I'm not condoning it, but that might happen. If it does, call Daly M. Johnson. Let's get to the game recap. Fellas, Giannis did his thing. Giannis 34, 14, and 12. It's a constant. I know what I'm getting. I know. You remember the movie with Denzel? What's the movie he was selling the cocaine? What's the American Gangster?
You talking about Frank Lucas?
Frank Lucas.
Yeah.
And he got that blue magic, and Cuba Gooding Jr. trying to walk up to him and try what he's trying to sell. So he tried to sell some knockoff blue magic. He said, "No, it's consistent. I know every time I know what you get. When my customers see this blue magic, they know what they're getting. 34, 14, and 12. I know what I'm getting from Giannis. 14 and 23, 1 and 3 from the three-point line. Did his thing tonight. I know what I'm getting from Giannis. I'm not concerned with it. Every night he's going to be consistent. He's going to deliver. Brook Lopez, 11 points. Malik Beasley, 14 points, 4 boards, 5 for 12. Shot the ball well tonight. 41%, 44% from 3. Damian Lillard finished with 28, 12, and 5. I thought he played a good game. One of the few times we talked about, right? Dame Lillard scored 26 points, and the Bucks typically win. Tonight that doesn't happen. But 10 and 23, 4 for 12 from 3, 4 from the line. Damian Lillard was good tonight. I thought he was good. I thought he controlled the pace of the game. I'm not blaming him for being in on defense. That's a Doc Rivers call. So I thought Damian Lillard was good. Jay Crowder still trying to get his thing together. If he could get the 3-ball going, or at least some semblance of a shot, he'd look much better. But I thought he was okay defensively tonight. Pat Connaughton at 17 points, 6 boards, 4 or 5 from 3. Bobby Portis with 14 points, 8 boards. I thought defensively, Bobby Portis did not do a really good job. I thought, and there was moments throughout the game where I thought the Lakers were just picking on Bobby Portis, and really they were picking on him off ball. They were trying to get Bobby Portis into actions and into screens, and they knew that he could not recover or get back fast enough, or that he would screw up some type of rotation, or he would not be in position. And they were almost playing off of Bobby Portis for long stretches of the game when the Bucks couldn't get stops. And that was throughout the middle portions of the game. I thought that's what took place. Patrick Beverley didn't score tonight. 16 minutes. Danilo Gallinari wasting 3 minutes. Danilo Gallinari, 3 minutes. You know what? He got in the stat book though, because he took a shot. He took a shot. He took one more shot than all of us tonight, but he didn't score. You know how many rebounds he had tonight?
0.
None. How tall is Danilo Gallinari? How tall is he?
6'10".
6'10". 6'10". Yeah, he ain't getting no rebounds. He wasn't doing nothing. 0 assists, nothing. AJ Green, DNP, CD. We're gonna talk about that too. Doc Rivers. Spencer Dinwiddie, 5 points, had a big block. Hachimura had 12 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Thought he played a decent game tonight. AD 20, and that was the thing about AD. And then my shoulder. I can't. I try to draw a chart. Jump, man. Stop being so soft and jump. He don't jump with Giannis. He tries to slide into him. He falls down. It's a charge. Oh, no, actually they called a foul on AD, but now he's hurt. You know what? They're not jump, man. Stop doing that. AD scored 2 points in the fourth quarter. Total non-factor. 22, 13, and 5. And I said that throughout the game. I said, you can live with Anthony Davis doing whatever he wants to do. You can live with it. He's shooting the ball. You can live with AD. You can't let the other guys get off. And you let Reeves put up 18, 5, and 7. And then you let Deangelo Russell 44, 6, and 9. And again, I'm not, and so I know the Dame fans get upset. I'm not blaming Damian Lillard, but we talk always about, what do we say? That, when he
over on the other point guard.
Yes, but I guess we were saying a lot about Damian Lillard. Because the other thing we say is, how many times have we seen an opposing guard outplay Damian Lillard? And we're supposed to have, one of the best, top 75, one of the best guards in the East. And again, I thought he played a good game, but it just has happened plenty of times where an opposing guard outplays him. And so the opposing big doesn't outplay Giannis. Giannis 34, 14, 13, 34, 14, 12. AD 22, 13, 5. Giannis outplays his opponent. Giannis outplays his 1-to-1. But for whatever reason, and again, 44 is a tough night, but Dame wasn't able to outplay Deangelo Russell. That was the game. 44, 6, and 9 from Deangelo Russell. 17 to 25. But it ain't just 44. It's not just it was 44. 68% shooting. 9 of 12. And then, and look, and again, I'm not blaming Damian Lillard, but I'm just comparing. They both took 12 threes. One guy hit 9, one guy hit 4. Those are the differences in the game. Those are the differences. And again, I'm not blaming. This is a fact. I'm just pointing out facts. Cam Reddish with 6 points tonight. Jackson Hayes with 8 points. Teron Prince had a stretch where he had a nice stretch too. Goes at 8.6 rebounds. Real quick, I know we've been kind of going at it. I think that, in the first half, lazy defense, too many open shots. I thought actually the Bucks did a really good job. I thought Brook Lopez did a good job initially, AD, but you had to contest him. You got to put a hand up. AD he is not a floor tilter anymore. He's just not that. His stats to me, a lot of times, not all times, a lot of times they are empty stats. He doesn't fill the stat sheet up. He doesn't do enough things that just impact throughout a basketball game. He has trouble doing that, right? And so that's what I see from AD all the time. And tonight was no difference. 22, 13, and 5, but wasn't impactful. No, he had a nice block on Giannis in the fourth quarter, but he's a 6'10" presence and he's good, but not like to where he's like, so he was not a superstar tonight. He just wasn't. Deangelo Russell was, and Deangelo Russell carried them. So I thought the first half, defense was okay. AD started to fall off a little bit in the second half. And then, there were just so many moments throughout this basketball game where the Milwaukee Bucks got close and they couldn't get over the hump. And you felt, and they would get close, and then boom, it was another Deangelo Russell 3. Or boom, here comes a Teron Prince 3. or boom, you get to a 1-point game, and I'll give you another example. The IQ. What the Bucks were down? What was it, like 1 point, 2 points in the start at the end of the third quarter, and you give up a bucket on one end, and then you try to roll the ball in. So it's like a 3-point game. You roll the ball in. Giannis is looking up the floor. Reeves take the ball later. Those are the plays. Those are like the little plays. I tweeted. I was like, man, it was crazy to me. These idiots won a championship like that. Again, Charles Barkley said this was one of the dumbest teams you ever seen. Just one of the dumbest IQ wise, a dumb basketball team. They made a lot of dumb plays tonight. I thought the officiating was bad too, but that wasn't why. But again, in the fourth quarter, at the end of the day, the Bucks did get over the hump, and I believe they were up 6 with about 2 minutes to play, and they pissed down their leg. That's what they did. They pissed right down their leg. And again, no excuse for I think Rui hit a 3 down the stretch that was open. I think they lost sight of Deangelo Russell for a 3. They got hit down the stretch and was open. The Bucks didn't execute like they needed to. And then, like you said, and at the end of the game, you're up 1, and for whatever reason, I mean, your best on-ball guard defender is sitting on the bench. One of your worst on-ball guard defenders is on the floor. Again, is it a guarantee that Pat Bev gets a stop? No, it's not a guarantee. But damn it, I'm taking my chances with Pat Beverly getting a stop at the end of the game over Damian Lillard. Not blaming Damian Lillard because that's not his skill set. He just simply shouldn't have been in the game. Darvin Ham outcoached Doc Rivers. And I'll say this before I let you go, JT. What I'll say is this. I am now at the same point I was, and I said this before. I said when Doc Rivers got hired, I didn't believe that the Bucks' chances of winning a title changed at all. I thought they had the same chance to win a title, that, whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and we'll see. Not that they couldn't win one with, but we'll see what happens. And that's not saying Doc Rivers is a better coach than Adrian Griffin. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that, in my opinion, the title chances remain the same. And the crazy thing is, Doc had me believing. And it wasn't like the Bucks were 15-0. The Bucks were basically 500 with Doc Rivers so far, right? What are they now, like 8-8, something like that? 9-8, 8-9, maybe. They're right around 500 with Doc Rivers. What'd you say?
I think that's right. I think it's 8. I think it's 8-9, right? Because it was 8-7 the other night.
Something like that. Yeah, 8-8, 8-9 with Doc Rivers. So it's not like they. But he had me believing that this team was much better off. They had a better title chance. Again, I've watched the last couple games, and I'm not going to let myself be swayed. Doc Rivers is who I thought he was. Again, you're getting outcoached by Darvin Ham. He's shown me who exactly he is. He's a decent coach, but if the Bucks are going to win a championship, they're going to win a title. They're going to win a title because Giannis and Dame go crazy. And again, it doesn't matter if I was coaching the basketball team. That's how they're going to win That's how they're going to win a title. Any of us to be coaching, they're going to win a title. They're going to win it. They're going to win it. They're not. I'm in the same position. That's what I saw tonight. JT, I'm kind of pissed off. You tell me what you saw.
Well, look, I don't like that assessment from you, because now the question you still ask is, okay, well, was it worth firing the guy that we got rid of, right? If you're, I get that, right? I'm not trying to get into that, but what I'm saying is that if you ask that question of if this team wins the title, it's just going to be because Giannis and Dame are two of the best players to step on the court, right? 2 top 75 players are going to elevate this team, and you say, well, it didn't matter. We could be coaching this team, and it is what it is. I think that's a fair question. Well, all right. Well, so is it worth getting this guy to get in there and basically do what any of us could do if this team has success? But having said that, I think the first half, right? I love the way the Bucks came out in the first half offensively. They came out firing for the most part, right? They shot 50%. They shot 50% in that first half. Now, the problem is defensively. I agree with you. The defensive lapses, I don't understand it. This team just goes through possession after possession sometimes where there's just a lull. And I'm not sure if they're not communicating out there or if the team's just not fully comfortable. Is it schematic? I mean, I have absolutely no idea, right? But having said that, you talk about the second half of this team, which, by the way, hang on, before I get to the second half, right? So the Bucks shot 50% in that first half. Interesting thing about the stats here. The Bucks made 25 shots in that first half. You know how many the Lakers made? 25, right? So they made the same amount of shots in the first half. Conversely, same note. The Bucks made 8 3-pointers in the first half. You know how many the Lakers made? 8 3-pointers. It's really interesting how the stats were literally parallel when you look at that first half. Now, second half, one person I got to give some credit to who I think's had their best game all season offensively, Pat Connaughton. Hey, Pat showed up, right? Had 14 points in that second half and was balling for the most part, right? So we got to give Pat credit there because we have been talking about how Pat had looked very shaky this year, and this is a game where you needed your supporting cast to show up. I'll say Pat Connaughton, at least offensively, 100% showed up. Conversely, Malik Beasley, right, had 11 points in that first half and finished the game with 14. So second half, right, he just was out there missing shots. Now, all right, so that's offensively. The second issue, and I'll piggyback on this. Deangelo Russell, listen, he was out there handing out work. You talk about Frank Lucas with the Blue Magic, right? Deangelo Russell was passing out to any and everybody who wanted to get some. Brooke, take one, pass it down, I'm going to make this three. Beasley, take one, pass it down, I'm going to make this three. Dame, take one, pass it down, I'm going to make this three. He was just literally giving everybody work out there, any and everybody. He was an equal opportunity distributor. Now, the question I have to ask, though, is why didn't Doc make adjustments to where you put a guy out there like, again, an AJ Green, who's shown to be a capable defender at times, right? Why didn't you give him a couple minutes and see if he could do something? Why didn't you have Pat Beverly out there again late and see if he could do something? I'm not really sure. But the issue that we saw tonight is the same issue we've been seeing all season with Doc, right? Personnel, roster management. We've been asking questions about that. That seems to be a recurring theme. And then, of course, adjustments, right? Like we do wonder sometimes in situational basketball, okay, why doesn't Doc make this adjustment? Why does Doc just keep letting this ride? And tonight it really hurt us, right? We were hoping that these guys would make a play, and the Bucks had every opportunity to win this game late, but it just was not enough at the on the last.
Yeah, I just don't see how you can blow a lead like that. I think you had really clutch moments in the end of the game. Like I thought Dame and Giannis really worked that two-man game, and it looked like the best kind of closeout that they could have had. That the chemistry was working between those two, and ultimately you just didn't play any defense. I mean, after you go up 6 points or 5 points or whatever it is, you can't just allow them to get open looks. You can't lose shooters, and that's what the Bucks did. I thought they did that all game too. It wasn't just the final minutes. They lost shooters. They lost track of guys who could knock it down, and that's what ended up hurting them. And then at the end, obviously, look, Dame, you just got to get to the basket, man. You don't have to do that step back mid range. I thought that was a very low percentage shot. I thought he came around that screen and had an open lane to try to get inside, and he took the tougher shot. And Dinwiddie blocked it, rightfully so. It was very disappointing. I thought that was a game that you definitely should have won. Pat Connaughton was nails in the final stretches of the game, and Giannis did a good job of finding him, and he was knocking stuff down, and we've been critical of him, and that's what we want to see. But it all goes away when you don't play any defense down the stretch, and that's why I thought lost you the game.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, I agree with you on the last Dame shot too. You know that you have to, and again, for whatever reason, that's a shot a lot of people love. I mean, we saw Jason Tatum do it the other night, and did he get blocked? He just missed it the other night against Cleveland, where for whatever reason they go. You know, you have these superstars who can do so many good things, who can get their own shot and do all. And at the end of the game, they go to a step back, not to step back, excuse me, but a fadeaway. Fall away, fading away from the basket. And again, it's a good shot if you hit it, but is that the best percentage shot you can get there? Absolutely not. And again, you don't get one of the things I used to, and again, I used to go to so many Bucks games and in so many years past, and this is why it almost double pisses me off when I see it happen, is I would see so many things go on, and I would say, I'd be at all these games, like I said, back in the day, and I'd be there with my dad, and we'd be like, can we get a shot off? Can we get that? That was always the hope in the fourth quarter, last second of a game. Can we just get a freaking shot off? And tonight, that's what it looked like. One of them old Bucks games I've been to back in 2015, 2016, before the Bucks were good. 2012, where you're not able to get the ball in, or for whatever reason, ball dribbles off somebody's foot. You can't get it in. And whatever reason, you don't get a shot off. And so you need to give yourself a chance to win the game. You don't even give yourself a chance to win the game because you don't get a shot up at the basket. So again, all that was just bad stuff, man. I can't be more upset at how this game went. No LeBron, you had an opportunity to win it. You already lost one on the road in this road trip already starting, and you continue to start off on a bad foot. So again, I know we had some audio issues early. I don't know how much you guys missed, but again, appreciate you staying with us throughout the audio issues. Hopefully it wasn't bad for too long. But yeah, let's read some of the comments here. Deco123 says we have to be real though. D'Lo was hitting damn near every shot and playing out of his mind, hitting timely shots. I agree, D'Lo, but here's the thing: D'Lo hitting every shot. How many times are we gonna say that? Because you know who else hit every shot? I saw that in the first round last year. I saw that in the first round last year against the Miami Heat when guys, they're gonna start missing. At some point, it's one thing for guys to hit shot and a bunch of guys to do. I can't let one guy like that. That tells me something's wrong with your basketball team when one guy is shooting 68% from the field. Like that's a problem. When I can't even get you, when another guy's shooting 75% from the field. I mean, from three. Like, what's going on? You got to be able to fix it. You can't tell me I just got to sit there and accept that guys are going to hit shots like that. I can't do it because, again, it's going to happen over and over and over again. And you sit there and look. We did it again. We did it against Boston in 2022. Well, they can't keep shooting. Grant Williams can't keep hitting that many threes. Well, he did. You're out the playoffs because Grant Williams hit 7 threes on you in Game 7. And it just continues to happen. John House says I'd rather have AJ in over Bees. Okay. I guess. Jamar Kennedy says didn't expect the Blue Magic to Giannis analogy, but it was spot on. Green Ranger says our shooters are just too streaky. We really need someone with a reliable jump shot. Is Chris Middleton retiring? So when we go, our shooters are too streaky, maybe, but that really wasn't the case tonight. Like tonight, I don't think we didn't shoot like the streakiest shooter tonight was Dame. Now Bobby was 0 for 4, but Dame was 4 for 12. And we had like Pat didn't hit any, but I can excuse that. But Pat was 4 for 5. Beasley was 4 for 9, almost 50%. Giannis was 1 for 3, and Brook was 3 for 3. Like the guy that took your majority of your threes and missed 8 of them was Damian Lillard, right? Like and Bobby missed threes too, but so I don't know. I didn't think we didn't shoot the ball well again tonight. The issue was defense, and then I agree. I don't understand how AJ Green doesn't play. I don't get it. The Danilo Gallinari experience has to end. He's not good enough. It was a bad sign. It was probably one of Horst's worst signings to me for the year. Since he's been doing this free agent buyout thing, probably one of the worst guys. Because he looks old, slow, and then Doc Rivers just continues to play him. Just continue. So again, if you missed this part of it, like I said, my point here is Doc. Again, I'm not saying he's not it, but Doc Rivers he scares me as a coach because again, what do we talk about Doc Rivers blowing leads, right? Blowing 3-1 series, most blown 3-1 leads, most blown series leads, right? You up 6 points with 2 minutes to go. You got Damian Lillard, you got Giannis Antetokounmpo. What was the retort everybody said as to why Doc Rivers was going to be better than he was in the past? Well, this is the best team he got since 2008. Okay. Well, here's your time to do that. All I can say, and again, I'm not advocating for anything. All I'm saying is there was a time in this season where when the Bucks got down late clutch games, it was no question. They could have been down 2 or 3 possessions. It was no question the Bucks were going to find a way to win. Good opponent, bad opponent, they were winning those games. Now, forget just being within 2 possessions. You're up 2 possessions with 2 minutes to play, and you can't find a way to win. And again, it's not like the Lakers are world beaters. They're sitting in 9th, right? They're sitting 9th in the West. So this ain't something like, oh, this is a great. No, Lakers ain't no great team. They're sitting 9th in the West, and they're missing LeBron James. No, that's a bad loss. That is a bad loss.
And I would agree with that, right? We have talked about this, and we said, you're not saying anything new now because we said this about Doc all year, right? The question I do have to ask though is, at what point does Doc look at this roster? What point does he make? Simple things, right? It's a layup to see that Gallinari doesn't have any juice anymore, and to just play AJ Green there, even if you gave him 5 minutes. We say this very, very frequently, right? Why doesn't this person play? Why isn't this person play? It doesn't make sense. And quite honestly, I just don't think Gallinari. Really, I don't think Gallinari should be on this roster. I haven't seen anything from Gallinari why he should be on the team, let alone even getting playing time. Yet Doc continues to give him some run. Now, to be fair, he only played 3 minutes tonight, and those 3 minutes he looked absolutely awful. But I just think that the nights, there need to be a very limited number of nights where you don't play AJ Green at this point. I think he's warranted getting playing time. And AJ Green's played in the last 6 straight games anyway. So I don't know. That's a little bit of a head scratcher.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you get to a point where you're thinking that, your guys that are experienced in the NBA, that have played in clutch moments and in clutch times, that they could pull it out for you. But tonight it just wasn't that, right? Like it was a situation where in the final clutch moments of the game, you blew it. And so now it makes you think that you want to actually take a chance on a younger guy, on a rookie like Andre Jackson Jr. or like a AJ Green, a sophomore in the league, to kind of close it out for you.
Green Ranger says, I think Doc gets us to a winnable situation in the second round. Coach Griff looked like a first round exit waiting to happen. Maybe. I'm not saying maybe that would have been the case. I don't know. But what I know is they were winning at a 70% clip, and now they're winning at a 50% clip. That's what I know. That's what's happening. And we can try to again, I'm not saying you can't fire Adrian. I'm not saying that. I'm just looking at what we're going to see, and we're going to evaluate this properly. We're not going to pretend, well, the defense is okay. Now, because that was the answer, was when you start 3-7. Well, look, the process and the defense and da. Oh, okay, so you went. See, I told you it was working. Okay, well, now we're right back to where we started. So what is your excuse now? Because what is your excuse? You're 20 games away from the play. I know the excuse. Well, Chris Middleton's got to get back. That's what we're gonna say. I mean, it's just gonna be mountains and mountains of excuses until we get to the playoffs. And again, I think the Bucks still have an excellent chance. I think they're still the second best team in the East. I think they have the two. They should, in most series, they're gonna have the best player on the floor. They have 2 of the 3 best players on the floor in just about any series they go to. Right? Doesn't matter who the opponent is, but. I like I said, Doc doesn't inspire any he doesn't instill any confidence in me for this basketball team. I've lost it, and again, I'm gonna have to be proven wrong on this one. Not saying he can't win it. I'm just saying I'm skeptical, and my thoughts are it's gonna be on the back of Giannis and Dame, and like I said, coaching is just see what happens.
So is it possible that this team figures it out? We got 18 games left.
Absolutely.
Right? Is it possible that this team figures it out under Doc? Right? Because I would still argue there's a chance. Right? I think there's definitely a chance. I get it. You didn't have an all season. He came in mid-year. He's adjusting. Even though this team kind of caught fire over the last 10 days, and granted the last 2 losses have not been great, but it's hard because you've seen a lot of good from Doc. In the last couple of weeks since the All-Star break, the majority of it, you've seen a lot of good from Doc, but some of this stuff just seems like basic things, and I can't figure out what the difficulty is in deciding who to play, who not to play in certain situations when you have a team with a talent level like the Bucks.
No, go ahead. I mean, you just echoing the same thing. Like I agree. I think that Adrian Griffin had this team. I mean, at least they were winning these close games against bad teams. I mean, you can basically categorize this Lakers team as a bad team without LeBron James, without Vanderbilt. That's not who they're rolling with if they get to the playoffs. And this was a situation where you had this game won. You had the 6-point lead under a minute or whatever it was to go, and you just blew it. The personnel wasn't right. The defense, the buy-in from the players didn't seem right, and they didn't take care of business like they should have. This was a bad loss.
Josh Davis says they said Middleton might play Tuesday. Well, they said he might play. He was supposed to play last Friday. He's supposed to play this Wednesday. He might have supposed to play maybe tonight. The answer is Chris Middleton's going to play whenever. I said this earlier. It was like when they say he might play. If you say he might play enough times, one of those times is going to come true. So I have no clue when we're going to see Chris Middleton. We'll see him eventually. I don't even know why they say it. Just no commenting. Just like you see Dame Lillard, no comment. The Glorilla stuff, they asked Dame if he contacted Glorilla. He said, hey, no comment, my brother. No comment. Hey, he said it with a smirk, too.
Hey, he knew what time it was. Right. No comment. Right. Yeah. Hey.
He on time for that.
Hey,
he on time to end the game. He on time for that.
If she gets him to play a little bit better, then all right, man, go ahead. Do your thing, right?
What I don't understand is people coming in the comments, Coach Jackson saying, okay, Dame hits that shot. That doesn't change what he should have done. He came around the screen with a wide open lane. Go and get that floater. There's only 5 seconds on the clock. You don't have to do this extra step back from the midi. You're down 1 point. Get to the free throw line. Get a higher percentage shot at the free throw line or at the in the paint. Like, come on now. Like that's just, it's common knowledge. You don't have to coach for 20 years to understand that you can get a better shot than a step back contested mid-range shot.
Well, here's another comment that doesn't make any sense. Cody Hagan says, why are you so bitter? It's a regular season loss. Relax. No. You've lost. If you're the Milwaukee Bucks, and I said this before, when you fire your coach in the middle of the season, you lose the ability to say it don't matter. It don't matter. You know, because you've proven that it does matter. You've shown me that you care. You care about every single game that happens. You can't flip-flop and have it both ways. Oh, it's a loss. It doesn't matter. But you're firing coaches when you almost lose. You firing coaches when you winning games. So you can't. And again, I'm not advocating, but I'm just saying you lose the ability to tell me that odds regular season game it'll just all work at the end when that's not what you show me. You really think you are concerned. You don't fire coaches in the middle of the season unless you are concerned about what's happening from a game-to-game basis. So, no, I'm not going with the regular season. And again, also, hey, dog, what time is it? It's March. Is it March? It's March. Nah, dog. No, it's time now that you need to be figuring out ways to play with. And again, the Bucks also, a thing we're seeing, you're going to be probably the 2 seed, maybe the 3 seed. You're not going to have home court advantage as the Celtics. The Bucks right now on the road, believe they're about a 500 basketball team. On the road, the Milwaukee Bucks at home, they are 25-7. On the road, they're 16-16. In comparison, on the road, Cleveland is 19-11. Boston's 19-11. So the Bucks have shown that it's not like they just roll into opponents' homes and you can just guarantee they're gonna get one. That's not happening anymore. So that's just something to think about.
Well, I also say too, we know what Doc did on his first West Coast trip. So this is not a good start to another West Coast trip that guys are going out west and now we start 0-2. What was he, 1-5 in the last one we went on? We already talked about that and we gave him the grace of, okay, you're just taking over the team. Here we go. You got to get your personnel right. You got to get who you want to play right. And now we go on a 6-game winning streak, and then we go out west, and now we're 0-2. So this is a point I had to make.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's something that's definitely a bit troubling, right? Think about it like this: that Monday night team. Think about how that game came. Think about how the game came together on Monday night, right? And you had Giannis who was unexpectedly out, and you saw other people on this team to step up, right? So you build that momentum into that, and you're thinking, wow, hey, we're getting somewhere. And then you have 2 disappointing losses in a row. And just to kind of lose in the manner and way we did tonight, it's a bit demoralizing.
Let's go to Twitter and see what they're talking about over there. At He Manson says that was one of the absolute dumbest last-second plays I've ever seen drawn up in the history of basketball. To not give it to Giannis down 1 is a joke. I can't see. I don't know. You have 2 closers now. I can't say you don't give it to Giannis down 1. I've seen Dame have some heroics. To have no movement or action or anything is just pure lazy, pathetic garbage. Now I will say, to me, Doc Rivers after timeouts to me have been worse than Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd used to come up with fire out of timeouts. I mean, it was almost a guaranteed bucket. They've been worse than Mike Budenholzer. After timeouts, Bud was a mastermind after timeouts. Adrian Griffin. After timeouts, Bucks, beautiful ball movement and scoring after timeouts. Doc Rivers, out of those last two coaches, last three coaches the Bucks have had, Doc Rivers by far in the first 15, 16 games he's coached has had the worst ATOs. The worst ATOs that I've seen. He had one where they came out of timeout in the fourth, and like it ended up being a beat. Like Beasley got the ball, looked at the rim, double, like almost like did a look with it. Am I open? Should I shoot? And just took. It's like that can't be what y'all called out of the huddle. It can't be. Rated R 4-4. Justice Ramsey says terrible defense, worst offense at the end. We let a bum go for 44. Disgusting Bucks loss. Big 4-5. Big 4-5 said. Oh, I think he's Big 4-5. I don't know. What do we do with Dame after the? What do we do with Dame after the first, second round exit? He ain't it. To lose to the 19th seed in the West tonight without LeBron is all you need to know about the future of this team. So again, you guys are asking, and one of the questions you guys are asking is why are you so bitter about the loss? This is what we're seeing. Like this is what we're talking about here. This isn't like I'm just coming out. I know, like we can't sugarcoat what happened tonight. Cody Hagan, we're playing for the playoffs. Griffin is not a playoff coach. Neither is Doc. But hell, he all we got. Then what the hell is that? We're playing for the playoffs. First, what do you mean? Griffin's not a playoff. You never saw Griffin in the playoffs, so I have no idea what that means. Neither is Doc. Okay, all right. I can't. Okay. At Drew Behringer says Dame outplayed by Russell. Story of the game. Russell made clutch shots. Dame came up empty twice at the end. So I think that's a little harsh. And then one more right now. Deep Pappy P says thoughts. You don't want my real thoughts. They're too dark. I need a sabbatical from this team. I watched most of the second half on mute. We all thought they figured something out after the break. Nope. So that's that I think, and again, I think that sums up kind of where everybody is. I think that sums up where everybody should be right now in this basketball team. And again, it does not. And so just because I feel a type of way about the Bucks and how they played tonight and how they played the last game. And again, we'll see what happens because again, you're gonna play coming up, right? The next Bucks opponent is Sunday, right? You got the Clippers on Sunday, afternoon game. Now, the thing you do have going for you there is the Clippers gonna be coming. They're gonna be on a back-to-back because I think they play the Bulls, I believe, on Friday night. If I'm not on Saturday night or tomorrow. I think they play the Bulls, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway. You got the Clippers on Sunday. You just beat the Clippers down, right? Back in Milwaukee. Don't you think they're gonna be wanting some revenge? Don't you think they're gonna come out and try to beat you? You need to salvage this road trip. There's no doubt about it. You need to salvage this road trip. You need to get back on the winning horse. You got the Clippers coming up. You got the Kings on Tuesday night. Your Bucks have got to figure out a way to get 2 wins on the back end of this road trip.
I would agree with that, and that's what we talked about that on the Bucks and 60 on Monday night, right? Like you cannot, the one thing you don't want to do is just completely blank during this entire road trip. That is a problem, and that is going to dull any momentum that you would have built post All-Star break. So yeah, I agree. You got to get a win against the Clippers and the King. I mean, if you can get both, that would be great. At least split here. But what you don't want to do is have this road trip and go, 1-5 when this thing is all said and done, or 2-4, right? You want to try your hardest to, so worst case scenario, split it down the middle.
What people aren't understanding is that we're not overreacting. We're calling it how we see it, and the fact that you were up, you had the lead, multiple possessions, in the final minutes, you lost the game. This is a game you should have won. It's not an overreaction because we lost to a Western Conference opponent on a road trip for the second day in a row. That's not what we're looking at. We're not looking at the grand scheme of things. We're looking at the game. We're a post-game show, and this game you should have won. And I think that's why we have the reaction that we do. It's not really necessarily anybody's fault. It's just a horrible performance in the final stretch of games that is concerning because when you get to the playoffs, when you get to some of these tight games, how much can you trust this Bucks team to close out games?
And again, Chris, and that's where I was getting at. There was a time throughout the season where we talked about it. Again, how many times have we been on the show and we said, get it a couple possessions either way, it's a dub. I don't know that I feel that way anymore about this basketball team. I just haven't seen the execution down the stretch, both offensively and defensively, no longer leads me to believe that I can just trust that it's going to happen. Now I know the comments were talking about the defense, and again, how about that? Now, whether is that when we talk about the defense and that it was getting better, was that potentially manufactured by Doc Rivers just slowing the pace of the way the Bucks play? Now, again, because we talked about the offense has been more deliberate. They've been running more half-court stuff. The Lakers got them running. The Warriors got them running the other night. So, again, in a half-court type of game, maybe that – but again, the Kings, I said the Kings. We play the Clippers next. When you get to the Kings, they're gonna run you. There are gonna be a lot of teams that try to run you. Are you really gonna be able to make sure you get to your half court offense and really set things up? You know, I'm interested in hearing what some of Doc Rivers post game tonight. I know again, like I said, he's not gonna be as fiery as we are, but like I said, you're at this point now, 15. You're going on 20 games into your tenure as the Bucks head coach. The excuses are going to run out. The excuses of, hey, I don't still learn this thing. We're still trying to figure this thing out. Those are going to fall upon deaf ears because again, you have about 20 games left or whatever it is, 19 games left. You are going to get Chris Middleton back. So, and I know some people in the comments, I think we talk about overreact. I think people overreact not to the Chris Middleton injury status, but to what he actually brings to the Milwaukee Bucks. Like Chris Middleton, like there's no doubt about it. Chris Middleton brings a lot. Number one, he's going to cut down some. Jay Crowder minutes are going to cut down because of Chris Middleton. Danilo Gallinari should be glued to his permanent role. Should be, you got to have guys that sit on the bench to actually hold the bench down. Because if you didn't know, the bench will actually fly away. That's what happens. The bench has wings. If you don't have people sitting there holding that bench down, it'll fly away. So Danilo Gallinari's role will now be to help Ajax and Marjan, those guys that can't get off the floor, holding the bench down. So Chris Middleton will have a huge impact. The question is, can he stay healthy? And again, maybe that's going to be enough to circumvent the shortcomings of Doc Rivers and what he how he hasn't been good after timeouts, or how his defense maybe has been fake fixed, but not really fixed. Maybe Chris Middleton's going to be a lot of the solve for a lot of that. And again, that remains to be seen because during the 6-game win streak and 6 out of the last 8 that you won, Chris Middleton hasn't been involved in any of that. So maybe Chris Middleton does provide answers that we don't have right now after I just saw this team get blown up by the Warriors and then lose to the LA Lakers minus their best player tonight.
Well, but the issue that we still have with Chris is, all right, so when he comes back, how does he look? That's the first thing, is how does he look? What's the plan? How do you assimilate Chris into the lineup? Because I think we're all assuming Chris is going to come back. There's not going to be any rust. He's going to pick up where he left off. Chris is going to be, because we know the type of player Chris is. We know what he's done overall in his career. But I think you make a really good point where it's like, well, if Chris comes back, great. But one, how does he look? Two, can he stay healthy? The last thing you want is Chris coming back and then, he played 5 games and now all of a sudden he's out again, right? We're 18 games out from the regular season. The regular season is 18 games at this point. So you would hope that you would have some things refined at this point and that you would be comfortable knowing the squad you're going to roll into the playoffs with, kind of really getting into a groove. But guys, that's not what we got this year, right? This Bucks season has been a bit chaotic, and I think you guys have talked about it as well. I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% confident in what we're doing at this point. I just think in my mind, I'm saying I think they're going to figure this out. But again, replace think with hope.
No, so I just think that, when Chris comes back, it'll definitely give you a guy who you can go to in moments like these where, it's a tight game. You got a guy who's a reliable defender. I don't think obviously he might have lost a step just with all the injuries, but I think that he still poses a big threat in being a lengthy guy and having him out there. Chill. So yeah, I mean, I do think that this team has hit a stride to where you can implement him into your lineups and still be good. I think his game ages well so that he can knock down shots and be a good spot up shooter. But that's all we need from him, really. I mean, we have enough offense to create. We get a lot of open shooters. We be able to kind of free him up on the offensive end. So I just think that it'll be tough ramping him up and kind of implementing him into this team, but it's not like – so now, being 6-0 before this Western Conference trip, I was thinking, hey, it might be tough, but now that you lost these 2 games, it just stresses the importance of having a guy like that in your lineup.
Coach Jackson says, well, I'm out. Time to hit the bed. Appreciate you. Final thoughts. Dame and Giannis need help, period. Those old farts on the floor with them give them no motion. Moving forward, that has to change. Good luck. Iron Man Clan TV says our offense has fallen off a cliff. Yeah, and then Cody Hagan says, talking about is LeBron the best player? Yeah, LeBron's the best player on the Lakers to me. There's no doubt about it. I mean, did you see Anthony Davis score 2 points in the second half in the fourth quarter tonight? Like you think if LeBron's on the floor, he would have put up 2 points in the fourth quarter? I know he. Oh my shoulder. Okay. I mean, LeBron to put up 40,000 in things, dog. Nah. AD is eight. Like, dude, AD is. I mean, he's such a chump, man. Like, I get so sick of watching him because all the things that they said about Anthony Davis, he should be embarrassed every time he looks at Giannis and knows Giannis has multiple MVPs and a Finals MVP. He got to be looking like, damn, that was supposed to be me. Do you remember when they used to compare Anthony Davis is better than Giannis? Nobody's thinking that. Nobody thinks Anthony. I mean, again, you have people who say Anthony Davis we talk about this skill debate. Anthony Davis has more skill than Giannis. There's no question that he is a more skilled player. I'm saying straight up like basketball skills. Giannis is more dominant. In my opinion, Giannis is more dominant than Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis has more skills. He has a better jumper. He has a smoother looking jumper. Now, Giannis been shooting a lot better recently, but Anthony Davis has a better looking jumper. The mechanics are better. Anthony Davis has more touch around the rim. Anthony Davis to me has a better IQ. Just knows the game a little bit better than Giannis. Knows all of the fundamental things a little bit better than Giannis. Just a smoother player than Giannis. Giannis is clankier, but again, Giannis has more heart, more hustle, more desire, more want to, more mental fortitude. Giannis has all of the like intangibles that don't line up with like skill necessarily, like the heart part of it. Anthony Davis doesn't have that, and that's why Giannis is just better than him. There's no question. But Anthony Davis should. I mean, again, if you put Giannis's heart in Anthony Davis, you'd have. There's no reason. Again, Anthony he dribbles just as well as Giannis. There's no reason why Anthony Davis does not do the same things Giannis does.
No, he's slower. He's slower.
I gotta argue.
He's a little bit. Yeah, he doesn't have that explosiveness that Giannis has. That's just what it is. Right. You're not born with that. The athleticism is different, night and day.
And that because Giannis's athleticism is to a point to where it makes him dominant because it's so much better than other. It's palpable, right? But he's so much more athletic than anybody else guarding him. And it literally is to the point to where it makes him unstoppable, right? I'm not going to put Giannis up there with LeBron James type athleticism because that's a rare athlete that you get, right? You only see that, who knows, right? Every 30, 40 years. But I will say that I think Giannis is much more physically gifted than Anthony Davis from an athleticism perspective.
I slightly disagree. I think Anthony, you just don't see it. He just doesn't show it. Because how many games? I mean, I've seen Anthony Davis be that dominant. I've seen him go after every single rebound that's on the floor. I've seen him dunk over people, around people. He just doesn't do it on a consistent basis. To me, and that's because Giannis uses his gift of athleticism so much more to me than AD does. And I think that's because AD knows I can score a different way. I don't really have to do this. But again, it comes off as soft. It comes off as lazy. I mean, I'm not arguing, obviously.
I would say he's just a stretch five at this point. I think AD's just a stretch five. That's just who he is. I don't think his game really encapsulates what Giannis can do. I just don't think that's in his bag. I don't think he could ever get to the explosiveness or the heart or the drive that Giannis will ever have. So I just kind of disagree on the skill aspect because I think that is a skill to have that much explosiveness, to take a rebound, drive all the way 94 feet and go dunk some ish. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it is what it is. I just think, AD has got, I mean, to me, he's got to play harder. And for whatever reason, he doesn't. And tonight, again, was just, that was so bad to have to be carried by D'Lo. And again, I give D'Lo credit. Is he going to shoot like that all the time? No, but he did it tonight to us. And, you got to tip your hat to D'Lo for doing what he did. But I mean, it's just I don't know. I just feel like it's got to be somewhat embarrassing to you just can't put together performances where you just out there running around. That's what. And fourth quarter, Anthony Davis was out there running around. That's what he was doing. KA family says Giannis over AD, hard work over talent.
I agree with that.
Josh Davis says we probably win this game or go to OT if Giannis gets the ball and drives to the lane at the end to either score or get to the line since we were in the bonus. Now, the way the refs are calling the game, I don't know if they would have called a foul if Giannis was driving to the basket. I'm not sure of that at all. But yeah, it probably is a better look, a better play than Damian Lillard's step back, or not step back, but his fadeaway that got blocked. But again, those are the breaks sometimes, man. Those are the breaks. I've calmed down a little bit about this loss, ever so slightly, but again, tonight was not a good night for the Milwaukee Bucks. It just was not. There's no way to sugarcoat it, no way to jump to get around it. I don't know. I leave you with it. So I want to get before we go to our game balls. I want to ask you guys, one more question, just about what are your overall feelings for this basketball team and where they stand right now? Because again, record-wise, I mean, you make the art. They're and the Cavaliers won tonight, so the Bucks are now half game behind Cleveland. You're 41-23. You're winning at 64% clip. You've lost 2 in a row. You are now 6-4 in your last 10. What are your just overall feelings now about this basketball team? So how many games you got to go if you're 41-23? What's that? That's you got 18 games left. I mean, if I had to ask you now, okay, so I'll do it a different way. I'm asking you now, not the Bucks ceiling. I don't even want to ask you who the opponent will be. Where does the Bucks season end? You don't know who the opponent is. Just, is it a first round exit? Is it a second round exit? Is it conference finals? Do they make it to the finals? Do they win? And I'm not asking what they have the potential to do. I'm asking if you had to take out your crystal ball right now and tell me, based off everything you've seen, based off Chris Middleton coming back, whatever. Where is the most likely result? What is the most likely result for this basketball team?
I mean, I think my issue, and I think a lot of Buck fans probably feel this way, I keep thinking that there's so much there from a talent perspective and so much good that we've seen from Doc, right, over the last 10 days. I keep thinking they'll figure it out, right? I keep thinking, yeah, it'll work itself out. They'll eventually get this thing figured out. Now, if you told me empty out the 401k balance, empty out the checking and the savings and everything else, and you said I had to put something on it, right? And you had to, and I would probably say, I think your ceiling, it might be Eastern Conference Finals, right? Like I think that may be your ceiling at this point. Now, this team has the potential to win the whole thing. There's no question about that. But based off of what you see and based off of some of the gaps and the inefficiencies and the problems and the consistencies, right? When you start seeing things over and over again and you see these trends, I mean, it's possible that stuff could change, right? But you got to look at what you got here. It just might be a situation where Eastern Conference Finals is probably the ceiling at this point.
So for me, I'm very optimistic. Even with this loss, even with how down we've been on the Bucks tonight and how they choked up a lead, I do think they can still win the finals 100%. I think that this team, regardless of these past 2 losses, is finals worthy. I just think that the inconsistencies are very concerning, right? Like the defense not being able to lock in on the first 2 games of the Western road trip. That's concerning. The inconsistencies of that are greater than anything else. Greater than not being able to get the 2-man game working with Giannis and Dame. Greater than implementing Chris in the lineup. I just think that if you can really lock that in, the defense that you have shown in the past, I think that you can beat anybody. It's just the problem is the inconsistency. Like I said, it's very concerning, especially like when you get into games where you need to lock in at the final minutes when you have a lead. If you're just going to choke those away, that's not winning you any series, right? So it's I do think this team, I'm still optimistic. I think this team can win the finals. I think it has the makeup. I think it has the depth. I just think that the inconsistencies need to fix themselves, or somebody has to step in and make sure that that's not a regular occurrence, what we saw in the past 2 games.
I know the State of the Union was last night, Chris, but so you gave me a political answer where you told me what you thought the Bucks could do. I want to know, like I said, tell me where do they end up? Yeah, that's what I wanted. Where you? I know you. We think you want to be optimistic. You think they can win a championship. I think we all.
State of
I
the
think
Union.
everybody in the chat. We all think that the Bucks can win a championship.
Okay.
At their max level. I want to know. Yes. What round? Yeah. Give me your round. Where does it end?
I mean, you see, you're asking a flawed question now, because I do think that this team can win the finals. I do think they can win the NBA Finals. I think that they. So if you want to know, I think they win the NBA Finals still, regardless.
You think they win the NBA Finals?
Yeah, 100%. Because here's the thing.
So if you had to bet possessions that were important to you,
there you go.
Would you bet on that happening?
I'm a risk taker, baby. You know, you know what I do.
I like it.
I'm putting it on the Bucks because
car keys. You're gonna give them away. I already know.
Yeah, that's just what I do. Like, I do think that this team is, personnel-wise, after watching what the Celtics do against top talent, after watching what we did to the Celtics under Adrian Griffin, beating them by 40, I do think that this team is like that. This team is personnel built to win an NBA Finals, and we've seen flashes of it past All-Star break. It's just the inconsistencies that you have to figure out. But do I think that that's possible in 18 games? 100%.
Yeah, see, I think that the difference is, with that, because when I think finals, when I think winning it all, I know what it took in 2021 for a team to do that, and what it took was Giannis playing at an MVP, top Hall of Fame 75. That's what it took. So if you want when I think about that question of where would I put him, I'm gonna check that box. Do I have Giannis playing do I have one guy who is playing like a top 2-3 top player in the NBA? Check. I got that. Now, my next question is, when I look at 2021, because I know the basis for that team is Giannis, that's what I'm going for when I think about this basketball team. I know the second guy on that team was Chris Middleton. And Chris Middleton had a 40.5. Chris Middleton was playing like he was a top 25 player in the NBA that year. So your next question is, do you have, and we know Chris Middleton's not that now, do you have a top 25 player in the NBA on your roster? Well, right now, Damian Lillard, could he be? Yes, but he's been so inconsistent. There's no, I could find 25 guys right now I would take over Damian Lillard. I just would, because he hasn't shown it. Does he have potential to do it? Yeah. So I would say no. I don't have that guy. I don't know that I have the guy on the roster. And then your third guy, who last year was in 2021 was Drew Holiday. Do I have a guy who's going to make all the little plays, all the necessary plays? He may have a bad game, but a guy that I just trust, because at the end of the game, Drew Holiday, remember, he got that steal over Devin Booker, threw it up in the finals, through the alley to Giannis, right? He had in the Brooklyn series was shooting 1 for 15, and the next thing you know, he's burying the 3 in a game 6 on the road, or a game 7 on the road. Excuse me. The Bucks where the Bucks at? No, yeah, it was a game 7 in Brooklyn where he's hitting big threes and hitting clutch shots down the stretch. So do I have that guy? Again, that guy this year would be Chris Middleton. The question, I don't know. It's a question mark. Why? Because I saw Chris for 30 games on a minutes restriction. I saw him for about 15 games where he wasn't on a minutes restriction. Maybe he was that, and now he's back hurt. So my issue is I have too many question marks to really. Brook Lopez is not as good as he was last year. Bobby Portis is streaky. Malik Beasley streaky. Is Malik Beasley going to be on? Is he going to be off? I don't know. I think in some portions of the playoffs he will be. But what if that's the first round? What if the first round is the round Malik Beasley is just not on? He could be gone. So I just don't know. I'm it's somewhere between the second round exit and the conference finals right now. So I put my money they get past the second round, whoever the opponent is. I just couldn't put money they beat the Boston Celtics. I wouldn't do it. If you like truly told me that, as a fan, of course I want the Milwaukee Bucks to win. But if you told me, you got to put your mortgage on a result, I couldn't in good conscience. I couldn't do that to my family. I couldn't put my money in the Milwaukee Bucks. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't. So that's where I have him. I have them losing in the conference finals right now. Doesn't mean they can win the finals. I think they could, but we don't know. We'll see. Y'all ready to do game balls or anything else? Okay.
We can do game balls.
Let's do game balls right here. I'm going. I'll go first. My game ball. It's going. It's going. Well, you know what? I'm not going to do Deangelo Russell. I'm going to give it to Darvin Ham. I'm going to give my game ball to Darvin Ham tonight because for the simple fact, because I saw something else in the comments saying Doc didn't lose the game. It was, that's a lazy analysis or whatever. Again, Darvin Ham, who Lakers fans have hated, Darvin Ham knew you don't just because Deangelo Russell's been cooking, just because you have a great player who's been playing well all night, doesn't mean you want him in every single situation. Darvin Ham knew not to have Deangelo Russell sorry ass on the floor with 5 seconds to go play deep because he can't help you. Deangelo Russell cannot help you on defense with 5 seconds to play. He's not making a play. Damian Lillard is more he's not making a play. So how does Darvin Ham know, even though I got a guy that's been cooking all night, I got to get him off the floor? Because our best bet is going to be with some better length, with some better guys that are more athletic, that can play defense. That's our better shot to win if I need one stop. How does he know that? And Doc Rivers does it at the edit for an in the game scenario. That's crazy to me. Doc Rivers is my game ball tonight.
Well, I'll be I mean, listen, you guys know where my game balls go on. You have to, man, put up a triple-double tonight. He shows up each and every single night. He plays every single game like it's his last. I mean, it is absolutely incredible. Doesn't matter who, doesn't matter where, doesn't matter when, but he does it night in and night out. I'm going to give it to our guy, Giannis, tonight for another triple-double in a valiant effort. The man laid it all out there, did absolutely everything he could to help his team win. So, yeah, I'm going to give it to Giannis tonight.
Well, this is an easy one. It's obviously Deangelo Russell for me. I mean, that guy was cooking, and he abused our guards. And this is a guy that you had to know before the game had been playing well. I mean, this is not like this is just a random game in March where Deangelo Russell just put up 40. No, he's been playing well. He's been getting his buckets, getting his shots, and you kind of got to scout for that. And obviously that wasn't the case, or they didn't try to deny him the ball. They didn't try to trap. They didn't make any adjustments in which could limit him from getting a 40-piece over your guard. So, it's clearly Deangelo Russell, and then the fact that he hit the game winner, just salt on the wound. He was good tonight, and I just got to tip my cap for that.
Doc Rivers on the last play tonight said it was just an ISO for Dame. They asked why that play. Doc Rivers said not a lot of time. Dame wanted the quick action. He's pretty good one-on-one. So just give Dinwiddie credit. He did a great job. So the Bucks didn't run anything at all. It was just get the ball to Dame and get out of the way. And didn't work tonight. So that was the answer from Doc Rivers.
But that's kind of concerning, I would say. Because, if you watch the last couple of minutes of this game and you saw what Dame and Giannis had going, regardless of what it was, regardless whoever – took the ball off the screen or if Dame passed it to Giannis, you saw good possessions. And obviously there's not that much time left, but there's time to run just a two-man game that you should have went to and they didn't do it. So it is concerning if that's your best play in crunch time to just get it to Dame because of his name, I would say, because he's only had one clutch moment with the Bucks this season against the Kings.
I wouldn't go that far.
He's a couple. Yeah, a few.
Nah, I mean, in terms of actually hitting a game winner, you're just gonna there you go. Just here, go. That's it. I think that's
a game winner walk off. Yeah, I think that was on one. But I would say that first game against Philly, he was dynamic down the stretch. I think it's been.
Even tonight he was good down the stretch, but still. I just don't think that's the best way to try to get a bucket in that situation is just give it to him and then just let him work. It's not it.
So let's look around the NBA tonight and see what happened. Again, the Bucks obviously take another loss. They're second in a row, 123-122 to the LA Lakers. The Wizards beat the Hornets tonight. The Pelicans beat the 76ers. The Orlando Magic lose by over 20 points to the New York Knicks. Cavaliers beat the Timberwolves. That game went to overtime. It was I thought it was. I was watching, and of course, Carlton Towns is now out with the injury. And as good as Anthony Edwards was the night prior, he was just as bad down the stretch tonight. The Thunder beat the Miami Heat. The Hawks beat the Grizzlies, and the Houston Rockets beat down the Trailblazers. Real quick, of course, I know it's late tonight, so we won't get into too much. I know that we'll be on Saturday morning. Catch us from 10 to noon on your T's and Q's. 97.3 The Game, worldwide iHeartRadio. So catch us there. We talk some Bucks, talk a lot of different things there. I do want to ask you, there was a couple comments that have been made. They all center around LeBron James. So LeBron James sat out tonight, didn't play. But I did want to ask you about this. Did you hear this? Will LeBron score 40,000 points the other night, right? A tremendous accomplishment. And there was no, it kind of seemed like it got kind of glossed over that he put up the 40,000. And Kevin Garnett came out in his podcast and said essentially that the game should have stopped, and that there should have been a moment that was recognized for LeBron scoring 40,000 points. Apparently, they did something pretty big when Michael Jordan hit 30,000 back in the day. I think they stopped and gave him some shoes or gave him a ball or something. They did something back when Mike put up 30,000. Where the game was stopped. Do you guys agree? Should the game have been stopped for LeBron James hitting his 40,000 point career point in the NBA?
No, because here's the thing, right? And the reason why the game shouldn't have been started is because when Mike hit 30,000, we knew what kind of milestone that is. LeBron James is already NBA all-time leading scorer, right? So I don't really think that we as fans can appreciate 40,000 points. It's like, what difference does it make? He's already scored more than anybody else in the history of the game. It's like, okay, well, he scored 40,000. Okay, so we're going to have a parade every time he hits a 41,000. We're going to, 42,000. I don't know, right? I think I don't think we've ever even been in a situation where we've made that some sort of significant number or target. It's like, listen, he's an all-time leading scorer. We definitely celebrated when that happens. And technically, every single time he scores, he's breaking a record, right? Like every single point he scores, he's literally breaking the NBA record for points scored all time. So no, I don't think it's that serious. I think Kevin Garnett, just finding things to be mad about. Just find something to be mad about, man.
No, that's true. I agree. I don't think that 40,000 is any more special than it was when you broke the record. We know you have years left in your tank, and you're proving that. That's an accomplishment in itself. Everybody's appreciating him for doing what he does and having this longevity, but nobody gives a damn. I mean, to stop a game, especially when your team is, ninth in the West, that's saying something that, let's just stop the game because he got 40K instead of, okay, first off, he already stopped the game when he broke the record. So I just think that it's stupid. It's something dumb to be mad about. Who cares? He already has the record. Why would you stop the game because he hit an extra 10,000? It's stupid.
Y'all both tripping. Y'all both tripping. No. Yeah, you absolutely need to stop the game. 40,000 points is a milestone. I can't believe you guys just said that. Glossing over 40,000 it's he's come on, man, y'all tripping. They should have stopped the game. It should have been a bigger moment. And to your answer,
that's why nobody cares about the regular season. They do BS like that if they.
Well, no, they didn't. They should have. But John, no, it's not 41 and 42. No, but if you got to 50, you know how it goes. You get to 40, that's about 50,000 points again. He probably is gonna hit. He probably won't play long enough to get 50,000 points. But 40,000 is a big enough milestone. You give LeBron James the flowers, man. That's what you do. You give LeBron flowers. That's what you do. I think the league could have and should have done that. That's me on LeBron. I'm not some huge LeBron fan. I mean, I respect greatness, but you come on, man. You gotta do something.
No, this is silly, man. It's the same thing with Tom Brady, right? When Tom Brady became NFL all-time leading passing yards leader, are we just gonna stop and celebrate every 1,000-yard increments from there?
No, not every 1,000. Yeah, but from 40. Yeah, if you hit 40, and then I'll stop when you hit 50. You hit 50, you probably won't get Yeah, that
He can
40
get
50
look.
is a big.
He can get a social media post. That's all he gets from me. I don't care. I don't care that much. Regardless, I mean, he was great. Everybody has already given him his flowers. He's got enough of it
to
win 3 championships.
You say that, but he's gonna get him again when he
Or
goes
4
like in the
championships.
comments saying he's gonna go on a farewell tour. He's gonna go on a farewell tour. He's gonna get him again. So you're gonna see this all the time. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with stopping and paying and just paying some respect to LeBron James, one of the greatest. Some people say he is the greatest player of all time, LeBron James. So I don't know. That's how I felt. Give him a little credit. And then the other one also has to deal with LeBron James. I want to get into this one. Udonis Haslem has a podcast, and Norris Cole got on. I can't remember who else's podcast.
That boy from Dayton, Ohio, baby. Yes, sir.
Who?
Norris Cole. Norris Cole.
Or Norris Cole. But both of those guys came out and said that the most important player on the Miami Heat during the Miami Heat's run was Chris Bosh. Do you agree with that?
I didn't hear the comments, so I'm assuming they made an argument as to why. I don't see how that's the case, but no, I absolutely don't agree with that. Right? But yeah, what was their rationale for that?
Well, I think what they were saying was basically like Chris Bosh spaced the floor, and I think I can't remember who the backup was for that Miami Heat basketball team, the backup big. And so that's why Chris Bosh was so important to the team. LeBron was the best player on the team, but the most important player was Chris Bosh. It would almost have been like, if you were to say, we've kind of said it. So in a way, I think the kind of breath they were using was how we say, well, yeah, Giannis is the best player on the Bucks, but for the Bucks to win a championship, Damian Lillard has to be, him. I think that's kind of the breath they were using for it. But the term they used was he was the most important player, Chris Bosh.
Yeah, so for me, no, for me, I understand the logic, right? Like I understand them saying that, okay, Bron is going to give you what he gives you. D Wade is going to he has the talent and the skill to make up for if you don't have LeBron, right? He can go for 40, he can go for 50. That's the type of player he was. But I do think that there's some merit to that, right? Like you have a stretch 4 in a time where that really wasn't the prototypical big in there who can shoot the 3 ball, who can stretch you out, who can rebound the who can rebound. I knew it. Who can rebound the basketball. Yeah, I understand the logic. I don't necessarily agree. I do think that LeBron and D Wade were just so great that those 2 guys are way more important than having a Chris Bosh out there. But I understand the logic. I'm not gonna knock him for it.
Yeah, Chris, I'm with you. Same thing. I think that was he important to winning? Yes. He did it, could they have won without? But I think they put like this: there are more Chris Bosh that you could have used and found another Chris Bosh versus trying to find another LeBron James. LeBron was the most important, best, whatever term you want to use. That's what LeBron was. See, I think their guys are trying to make a point, but I think they should probably use a different term to try to make it. Right. And then let me see. Josh Davis says he's definitely not better than Jordan, but we can have that debate another day. That is a debate for another day. I will say, I saw some stuff where have you seen this 80s and 90s movement where they're like, hey, I don't know, man. I saw some. Jordan ain't had no left. Couldn't go left. They playing this illegal defense. So I don't know, man. Some of the 90s game was not aesthetically pleasing. We'd have some issues with it today. But anyway, catch us. The Bucks lose. I'll say this. Any final words? Bucks lose 123-122 to the Los Angeles Lakers tonight.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, look, you're on to the Clippers. We got to move on. You got 18 games left, and still have an opportunity to finish strong and figure this stuff out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna overreact too much to this loss. I guess it is the West Coast road trip, and hopefully, on Sunday when we play the Clippers, that it's not the same result. But I do want to shout out to my Dayton Flyers, man. The boys played great basketball at the end of the stretch versus VCU tonight. They knocked down great shots, and they pulled out a 17-point comeback. So I'll give them their flowers, since everybody deserves their flowers, I guess. They did a good job tonight. Hopefully they, make a March Madness run.
Okay. So yeah, Dayton, like I said, Dayton had a really nice game, and that was fun to watch back and forth. Dayton VCU. So glad to see Dayton got some revenge over VCU. Yeah, I don't know. Tonight was just it was bad. Like that was an inexcusable loss. You got a gift with LeBron out. You got to Damian Lillard puts up 28 points. You got Giannis has a triple double. You got to find a way to win that basketball game. Like those are the games where I look and go and try to find out from Doc why the Bucks did not win, because it doesn't make sense to me that you can have games like that from your 2-star players and you found a way to lose a basketball game. The defense looked just as bad as it always has, and the offense didn't execute down the stretch. So yeah, I'm disappointed in the Bucks tonight, but we'll keep this thing rolling. 123-122, the Lakers get the dub. Spencer Dinwiddie blocks Damian Lillard to end the game, to win the game, seal the game for the Los Angeles Lakers. Again, we'll be back. We'll be here tomorrow. We'll be not here, but we'll be on your T's and Q's tomorrow at the game. And then Sunday, another post game against the LA Clippers. That's going to be an afternoon tilt. That'll be a fun one, matinee. And I think everybody be tuned in for that one. So catch us right here at the Cream City Crossover. Appreciate everybody for listening, watching, tuning in, following, liking, share, subscribe, all of that stuff. Tell a friend to tell a friend about the Cream City Crossover. We're always here having some fun. From the Guru, Trey Crosby III,
JT,
Chris King.
This has been a Cream City Media Group production. Don't take no one nickels. Courage.